Hi, everyone. We're just watching the participant numbers go up. Thank you so much for everyone who's joining. And we'll just give it a couple of minutes to let people get settled in and we can get started with our time together this afternoon on this frosty day.
Sounds good.
Okay. So hello everyone and good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Stephanie Ventura and I'm the Director of Education for the Ontario Association of Residents' Councils, also known as the OARC. And I'm your host for this webinar. OARC's webinars cover themes and topics that are suggested directly by you, the residents of Ontario's long-term care homes, and from the people who help to support the involvement of residents in their long-term care homes and in their communities. Today's topic, resident mentors, peer welcoming initiatives in long-term care homes, was inspired by the stories, experiences, and ideas you've shared with us on how to make the transition into long-term care living more friendly, supportive, and empowering. Thank you for being here today. Next slide, please. Please join me in a land acknowledgement. Together, let us now pause as we acknowledge the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today, from wherever we are virtually participating in today's meeting. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land we each call home. We do this to affirm our commitment and responsibility to improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. We acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people who call this nation home. Let us now join in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how each of us, in our own way, can move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Next slide, please. This webinar is being recorded today, and a copy of the slides and as well as the recorded version of this presentation will be made available on OARC's website and will be mailed out to all participants via email. The chat feature, you'll notice, is disabled for today. However, we do encourage you to submit questions and comments using the question and answer box. We are hoping that this is an interactive and informative webinar and that you will get some ideas and you'll also share some ideas on the great ways that you're helping to welcome people to your communities. We're looking forward to hearing from you as always and to sharing ideas with each other. After the webinar, please take a few moments to complete the evaluation that will pop up. These evaluations help us improve and build upon how we deliver these webinars to you. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this afternoon, during our time together, we'll touch on the importance of welcoming initiatives. Why do homes need to have a welcoming initiative? Some of the benefits for the residents who participate in delivering these programs, as well as those who receive the welcoming. We're so pleased to welcome special guests from Meadow Park Chatham, who will share their story and their program with us, how they do what they do. They've got something special there that we want to share with all of you. And then we're hoping to hear from you, hear what you're doing in your homes. We have some questions and conversation time, And that will conclude our time together this afternoon. Thank you. So why are welcoming initiatives important? Well, let's look at the numbers first. So in 2023 and 2024, between those 2 years, there were 28,949 people who moved into a long-term care home in Ontario. These numbers come from the Canadian Institute for Health Information and their current numbers. So 28,949 people moved into a long-term care home in Ontario. That number represents about 30% of all residents living in long-term care homes. So approximately 30% of long-term care residents have lived in their home for less than 1 year. So if you look around your home or think about, your dining room or a common area in your home, it's likely that about 1 in 3 residents has been living in your home, or you yourself have lived in your home for less than 1 year. 1 in 3 residents. So there are always new people to welcome to the community, new faces, new families joining the community. So having a formalized welcoming initiative is so important for every long-term care home. In addition to new people moving in, we chatted with our presenters earlier today, and they reminded us that even existing homes, residents who are currently living in a long-term care home might be having the experience of moving to a brand new build. So even though you have lived in a long-term care home for over a year, it's possible that your home is redeveloping and you'll be experiencing moving into a new place again. Some familiar faces and some things that you'll be used to, but also a lot of new experiences to have. So having this welcoming initiative built into how you do things is so important. Next slide, please. Some of the benefits of welcoming initiatives. Um, Providing meaningful social engagement. There are many studies. We took this information from one particular study, but there are dozens of studies out there on how being engaged in a meaningful way can actually enhance the quality of life for someone living in a long-term care home. It's goes a little bit beyond just being busy. It's having something meaningful that is important to you, a way to give back to the community that you're in, a way to have purpose and be proud of what you're doing. Actually enhances feelings, positive feelings, and has a positive impact on health. Also helps to reduce loneliness for new residents, but also for existing residents. Knowing that you can be a friend for someone, or that when you're moving into a new place, you'll have a friend there waiting for you, is so important. And we'll hear from our guests about this more in depth. They've really got this down to almost a science. It's really inspiring. Next slide, please. And lastly, this is not, the main reason why this is important, but we try and tie things into the Long-Term Care Act, the Fixing Long-Term Care Act. So this is the law, the set of rules and regulations that all long-term care homes in the province need to follow. You've likely seen this posted somewhere in your home, or maybe in multiple places in your home. And this is the fundamental principle. It's right at the beginning of the Long-Term Care Act, along with the Resident Bill of Rights. So these are your rights as a resident, as someone living in a long-term care home. And this is shared in every home. So all approximately 100,000 people who live in a long-term care home have these rights. If we could go to the next slide. Excuse me. So the connection back to Residents' Council and to the Resident Bill of Rights. In the Resident Bill of Rights, there are 29 separate and distinct rights, but one of them, number 7, if you want to look it up, is that residents have the right to form friendships and relationships and to participate in the life of the long-term care home. So you have the right as a resident to meet new people that are coming into your home, even meet other family members, make friendships and relationships with those around you, and to be a part of the life of the long-term care home. The team members in your home can help you to exercise this right that you have. And being part of a welcoming committee is one way that you can exercise this right. Looking at the Residence Council itself, the Residence Council, there are 10 powers afforded to the Residence Council in the Fixing Long-Term Care Act. And we've identified 2 of them here. And those are that the residence councils have the power to sponsor and to plan activities for residents. So you're not just a passive recipient of what's happening in your home or an observer of what's happening in your home. You actually have the power to sponsor and to plan what's going to happen in your home, what's happening for residents. And this welcoming initiatives can fall under that category of planned activities and programs for residents. In addition to sponsoring and planning activities for residents, the council also has the power to advise residents about their rights and their obligations under the Act. So this might sound a little bit abstract, and I don't, we're not envisioning someone walking up to you and saying, welcome to the home, these are your rights and these are the obligations under the Act, but it could look like sharing the Resident Bill of Rights with someone when they come in, or highlighting that, hey, this is part of the welcome package that your home provides to you. Check out this page. This is what it says. This is what it looks like in our home. This is how we exercise these rights in our home. Answering any questions that new people, new residents, even family members might have about the Resident Bill of Rights or about how things work in the home, how things are run. What happens when you misplace or when a belonging goes missing? How do you, what's the complaints process in this home? How do things work? Lots of new questions when you first move into a new place, and having a peer available to answer those questions for you in a casual or informal way we've heard is really impactful and really helpful, puts people at ease. Next slide, please. Okay, the moment we've been waiting for, welcoming our lovely guests from Meadow Park, Chatham. So we came to know about this home last year during the Sharon Cook Annual Legacy Award. This is an award that's you have to apply for it, and it's awarded during Residence Council Week. And what OARC is looking for is the spirit and values that Sharon Cook, our past president, really embodied. And that was that residents are part of the home. They are shaping the place that they call home, and residents need to be involved in everything. So through this program, applicants share a program that's taking place at their home. And what we're looking for is that there is involvement from residents and team members in a collaborative way. So it's not just that the home is saying, okay, this is the program we're going to do. This is our corporate onboarding of new residents plan. It's something that residents have co-created with the home and are leading in many cases. And Meadow Park Chatham really stood out as one of our top 3 applicants this year. And we couldn't let them go and really wanted them to share the great work that they're doing at their home. So without further delay, we have Nicole and James and Karen with us today. So welcome to the webinar. Looking forward to hearing from you. I've muted, I think I'll unmute Nicole and James.
I think she unmuted you.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right, Stephanie?
Yes, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. So my name is Karen Louise, and I work as the Life Enrichment Manager at Meadow Park Chatham. Our department often sees firsthand how hard it is for new residents when they enter long-term care. When a loved one enters long-term care home, it's often a very busy time full of change. It usually involves a great deal of loss, whether it is a home, declining health issues, or leaving behind their spouse or partner. Along with the transition, many are arriving due to declining health concerns, such as a stroke or Alzheimer's. But no matter what the reason, each person has a transition to go through when they're entering their new home. The first 24 hours a resident spends in long-term care is a pivotal time. This is the big day that many are nervous about. Preparations leading up to and including the first day are exhausting for many. Support systems help not only residents but families to feel that they are in good hands. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. So whether residents are making a transition into retirement or long-term care, making them comfortable is the key to their well-being. Having a support system helps them to acclimate to unfamiliar surroundings and provide an immediate sense of comfort and security. Imagine having 73 new neighbors in your community. Some homes have many more. Perhaps your only roommate has been your spouse. Now you're sharing a room and bathroom with a stranger. You can hear call bells ringing, chair alarms, PA announcements, fire drills, so many changes that no one ever seems ready for. Often these individuals coming into care are brought in without a chance to process leaving their home or family. So take a moment and think, can you imagine moving into a community where you may not know anyone or have any friends? Have you or a loved one ever noticed how much brighter the day feels after spending time with friends or getting involved in an event? So engaging with others not only lifts your spirits, but can have incredible health benefits. Research suggests that people who are active in their communities are less likely to have high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease, less likely to experience cognitive decline, and they're more likely to live longer, fuller lives. Imagine waking up each day with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing there are activities, friendships, and opportunities waiting for you. So think about strengthening connections, building the relationships that make life richer. Whether it's a casual conversation over coffee or a group program, these moments create lasting bonds that help you feel supported, valued, and deeply connected to the world around you. Have you ever joined a new group and felt like you belonged right away? Take a moment and reflect. How well do you know those people around you? Friendships are essential at every stage of life, and the simple act of getting to know your neighbors can make your days more joyful. So try inviting someone over for a coffee, organizing a small gathering, or just offering a smile and hello the next time you cross paths. Aging in long-term care doesn't mean missing out on social engagement. Our peer support group encourages you to meet your neighbors, participate in events, and experience a sense of belonging. It is often said that friendships are the key to happiness. Have you ever thought about how much your own friendships mean to your well-being? At Meadow Park, we focus on building a true sense of community where every resident feels valued and supported. From our programs to multicultural activities, Our aim is to help our residents feel recognized in their life experiences, feel greater confidence and joy, connect across generations, share ideas, and express themselves. Research shows that social interaction improves overall physical, mental, and emotional health and helps maintain brain health. People with strong social networks say they feel happier and more supported. Older adults also report increased levels of satisfaction and overall improved quality of life when they have a sense of purpose and are contributing to society. Many find this through volunteering, staying active, and engaged in their communities. Social connections are extremely important to people's well-being. Long-term care communities promote quality of life by supporting social inclusion of our residents. It's easier to stay engaged and participate in a community if we are accessible and open to new opportunities. Consider the type of community you want to grow old in. Does it provide opportunities for social interaction? When our residents are engaged and connected to their communities, everyone benefits. If you were to start asking your residents in long-term care about their first days, what do you think they would say? Here's what some residents said. There was no one there for me. Another resident stated, I hated going into long-term care. I don't remember anyone coming to see me. I know how important it is to have somebody, but I didn't have that. I felt very alone, and I know I would have appreciated a visit. How sad to think that someone feeling lonely when we live amongst so many residents and staff within a home. So how can we change this? Well, this is how our story begins. When I began my journey at Meadow Park, I had worked in other long-term care homes, but Meadow Park felt different to me. It felt like a home, like a family. The day I started, I met some great residents, and I noticed the bonds that they had with others. I loved how welcome they made everyone feel. I felt welcome. I felt like I was home. This was the beginning of my Meadow Park journey. A few things one may notice when you go into a long-term care home. There always seems to be that group of residents that everyone seems to know, and they're often seen chatting with other residents. They stop to check on someone, say hello, and see if they're doing okay. These individuals are definitely a home's ambassador. When I began at Meadow Park, I saw this right away. The residents were so welcoming to staff and new residents that I immediately felt a warmth and a sense of community within the home. At programs, I noticed various residents gravitated towards some residents with special needs to help them out, provide them with support when they needed it, or relish in those happy moments with them. Another resident I got to know was known for making pictures for other residents and staff for their birthdays. These were the people that stirred the inspiration for us being here today with you all. All these residents were part of a welcome committee within their home without even knowing it existed. Resident inspired and resident led. I remember visiting a new resident who came in. He was not happy and very upset. He had had a stroke and didn't want to talk to anyone or do anything but sit in his room. I started to visit him every day. He didn't say much, but he assured me he would never go to programs, and he had no interest in getting to know his peers. Well, with time and encouragement, a change occurred, and he started coming to programs, and he became one of our most engaged residents in daily programming. He participates in many of our committees and attributes it all to the persistence of somebody not giving up on him. I remember thinking at the time he just needed a friend and some support. What a difference it makes to make a connection with staff or a peer in the first days. His transformation was truly uplifting, and I always felt I witnessed something amazing that perhaps has led us to this committee today. Mm-hmm. At Meadow Park, we always aim to empower our residents with resident-led jobs, self-directed activities of interest within our home. We noticed many residents wanted to feel a sense of purpose within our home community. We also felt a peer connection would help bridge the transition for new residents coming into long-term care. So we created this welcome committee just over 2 years ago. Residents meet monthly and create welcome bags to deliver to our new residents. We try to match up our residents with similar interests. We know some residents have a gift for being there for a resident who has dementia or special needs. We also try to match up interests such as hobbies, sports, or travel. And we have a system here that we use for charting, Activity Pro, and it also allows you to match up resident interests as well as our recreation assessments. We ask our peer buddy to check in daily, offer a few kind words, and support if needed in their first few weeks. Residents are encouraged to be a buddy ongoing for months to encourage participation in programs, often escorting them and offering friendship and support during programs. This often helps reduce the anxiety some residents feel when they're first coming to group programs. When we meet with families and let them know we have this program available to assist with their loved one's transition, they're so appreciative of this committee. One family member stated, "It made me feel better knowing somebody would be there, helping my mom when I can't be there." Our group also started sending cards to families of residents who have passed away, which also turns into a discussion group as residents process the loss of their friend. Residents make birthday cards for peers, staff, as well as thank you cards to volunteers, performers, or retirement cards for staff. We also offer education on various topics such as communication, good listening skills, effective communication with our residents with dementia. A discussion on our new residents is what everyone is doing to help them feel welcome and a part of their home community. Some tips on how to start a conversation are also provided. We have 3 wings in our home, and we have a few welcome committee ambassadors on each wing, so they are close and can offer support on a regular basis. It is truly heartwarming to see the connections our residents form as a result of this program and their natural ability to shower others with their kind spirit. The Welcome Club is pivotal in creating an inclusive and welcoming atmosphere to our residents and families. The role of being a mentor is satisfying and rewarding. A few kind words can change someone's day. One resident quotes that her positive transition attributes to her friend peer group here at Meadow Park. She stated, "It made all the difference in my first days here. She would check on me, visit with me, sit at programs. I want to pay it forward because I know what it feels like to be the new person. Having a peer mentor has made all the difference in not only my day, but theirs too." Everyone here is welcome to join our Welcome Club. Many other clubs have formed from resident interest, such as our Garden Club, a Gentlemen's Coffee Club, Ladies Coffee Corner, Kitchen Keepers, Meadow Park Hockey League. We value our residents' input into their daily activities and empower them to contribute to our home, their activities, and create projects that can make an outstanding difference in the lives of others. Our residents are directly involved in staff appreciation days and educating our staff on the Resident Bill of Rights. They participate in morning birthday announcements. We are constantly evolving and creating new opportunities to engage them in their community. This month was Making a Difference Month, and we promote positivity within our home. On Valentine's Day, we had our residents approach staff and ask them to write on large hearts what they love most about their job at Meadow Park. It was heartwarming to see our residents on those hearts. We have another resident who plays piano before a program to welcome our residents before the program begins. And she provides our residents with a little musical ambiance. Another example of a subcommittee that transcends from our residents we have a resident with a strong sense of family and giving back to our community. She is one of our driving forces in fundraising for the Alzheimer's Society. I'll introduce you in a little bit. And we have our annual Let's Get Physical Walk fundraiser. She has engaged our family council and home community to participate in this local fundraiser. And throughout the year, we create smaller fundraisers, and it's amazing to see such joy in such meaningful programs. So many possibilities are out there, and we just need to be open to our residents' needs, interests, and implement these great ideas that they have. By incorporating a peer program, our residents can inspire trust and hope in their friendships and relationships with one another. It also creates a community building project as they reach out to our volunteers, community performers, and families. It encourages communication, both verbal and nonverbal, builds compassion and empathy as they learn about others and work together on various cards for various occasions. They actively participate in the grieving loss of their peers as they sign sympathy cards and discuss the recent loss within our home and participate in our home's honor guard. Being a peer mentor has many benefits. It can bring meaning and purpose to their life while increasing their self-esteem and their well-being. Mentoring can also relieve stress and alleviate symptoms of depression. And lastly, the whole premise and base of this club was to facilitate and support peer friendships. Residents see a new resident as they are already welcoming them independently and are actively engaged in the programs. Residents are doing good for others in the community, which provides a natural sense of accomplishment. Their role as a peer mentor, Their role as a peer mentor, gives them a sense of pride and identity. The better you feel about yourself, the more likely you are to have a positive view of your life and future goals. Now, there are some challenges that can occur with a welcome committee. A few that we've managed to encounter. We had some language barriers. We had one resident who did not speak English, but a staff member spoke her native language, and she would go in daily and chat with her. She would light up whenever she saw that staff member. So then we developed the Translate app on one of our tablets for staff and residents to use on a regular basis, and this is now incorporated in all our programs. So it's been a fantastic resource to have. Some of our residents want to visit, but they feel a little shy. So we've been assisting with the transition and accompanying them as well during those first few visits. If a match is not made, we will attempt to match another resident, but this has not occurred in our home at this time. Education, I feel that this is an important part of our welcoming committee, as we often provide education on topics such as Alzheimer's, dementia, cultural awareness, and special needs to remind our residents of the population that they are living amongst, as many of them may not have lived among such a diversified population. We also felt that possibly in larger homes, welcome committees could be a challenge. We are currently in a smaller home with 74 residents. In just over a year, we will be a home of 160. So we love this intimate family atmosphere that we have, and we want to bring that to our new home. So we're working really hard this year. We want to continue to strengthen our program here, that when we transition to our new home, that we can continue to have that family atmosphere and a strong sense of community. So very important in our new build. We are continuing to add to our welcoming committee, as always open to ideas. Our goal this year, we're working towards creating a brochure for our residents in their welcome bags. as well. Currently, we are working on expanding our quality supports with our family council and this is exciting, by adding a family council welcoming committee to provide support to our families of residents coming into long-term care. It's a new initiative that we just are starting to work on in our home. And we're excited to add this support, as residents are not the only members that require support with the transition into long-term care. We have a small lending library for our families. This is a fantastic resource. What Now books by Deborah Bakti, Bakti. We're excited to create another initiative in our home to assist everyone with the transition into long-term care. So the best part of this committee is once we provide the essentials, the residents seem to take over, initiating visits at their leisure, and it's amazing to see the bonds that develop over time. We are so grateful to be a part of this, and I truly would like to acknowledge our welcome committee for they truly make an outstanding difference within our home at Meadow Park. And now I'm going to pass the floor over to Nicole, as she and James have a little bit to share with you all. Thank you.
You all set?
All set.
All set. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's also an honor to work here at Meadow Park. When I come to work in the morning time, it certainly feels like I'm coming home to family. So I don't really sense that resident and staff. I sense just one big family, as I often am hearing mom, grandma, Mr. James is my title for my partner in crime here for the next few minutes. And then we're going to hear from another beautiful lady sitting by Miss Karen. So we're really excited, but we thought we'd start out just talking with Mr. James for a few minutes and just going down memory lane for a couple of questions about what your first day looked at. James has been with us for 6 years, going on 7 now. So he's one of our more long-termers. And when I came in, it was one of the first friendly faces that I saw. So
because I'm right beside your office.
Because he's right beside my office. That's right. So we always kid around and we have a good relationship. And
you leave the door open, so I always know what's going on.
He's always listening in, which he's always in the know. So Mr. James, if you can take a minute, just to, go back those 6-7 years. I know that was a day or two ago, but wondering what your first day looked like.
Confusion.
Absolutely. Right. Because where were you coming from, James? Home. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a lot different than home.
Absolutely. You all of a sudden got 73 roommates.
Yeah. When I didn't have any before. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how'd you feel about that, moving in on that first day?
Yeah. Confusion. A little anxious.
Sure.
Because it's something I've never done before.
Right. Absolutely.
But here we are.
Here we are.
7 years later, here we are.
That's right. Absolutely. Did someone reach out to you during those first few days?
Sure.
Absolutely. You want to talk about that for a few minutes, what those first few days looked like?
Yeah, she came down to my room, welcomed me in. Want to know why I wasn't going to any programs?
Putting a bug in your ear.
Yes.
Getting you out to some programs.
And now they can't keep me away from programs.
Absolutely. Mr. James is at 99% of our meetings, our activities, and he's a hoot to have.
And here we are.
Partners in crime.
Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely. So moving into our new Welcome Committee Club and Membership Club, can you maybe explain just for a couple minutes what goes on in a typical Welcome Committee meeting?
It's welcoming people that are not used to this, which is everybody that comes in here is not used to this.
Right.
Which goes a long way.
Yeah.
To feel you're welcome.
Absolutely.
And that's what we didn't have years ago.
Right.
Well, we're still working on it though.
That's right. And do you feel it's a team approach when you walk in those doors?
So.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And that's what I noticed. I love it.
Everybody contributes, but everybody's got a different opinion.
That's right.
People you talk to have a different opinion.
That's right.
So
We
yeah.
work hard as a team and as a
Yeah.
family. And when we have new people come in, we want them to come in and immediately feel
And
part
that's
of
how
that
you feel
family.
welcome.
You do, absolutely.
You're included because it's a good answer.
That's right. That's right. And James is one of our ambassadors. So we have, as Karen mentioned earlier, 3 wings, and he's one of our ambassadors on the West Wing. And so when we've had some new residents, which we've had quite a few in the last little while, James jumps on board right away, and he will be the first one to make an attempt to reach out. You know, we talk about that education component as well, that those first few days can be very overwhelming, frustrating. You know, there's some
Yes.
grief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
To be mindful
Because
of that.
everybody's got a different story. You don't know what it is,
That's right.
but you take time to find out.
That's right. That's right. So James would take that initiative to extend that welcome and hello, and we'd grab a welcome bag that we worked on during our welcome committee that's full of all kinds of goodies.
There is.
Yeah, it is packed full now, eh?
Yeah, which we didn't have a while back.
Right.
But hey, we're working on it.
We're a work in progress, right?
Yes.
So we've got a beautiful welcome bag, and James will grab one of those, and myself or one of my coworkers will go down, introduce ourselves, and just help that person feel welcome in those first
And that
few
means
days.
a lot.
And that means a lot. And I think you had mentioned that how appreciative, you know, you felt during those first few days, eh?
Right, because you don't know anybody.
Having Karen on your tail, eh? Getting you to program.
She
right?
won't give up.
She doesn't. And that's the great part. Never give up. Never give up. Right? So, and then moving into our peer mentorship program, you know, we've really just started and launched that. And that's something really exciting because we got together and we talked about what does a peer buddy system look like,
Right.
you know, and what are your thoughts on that program?
It's a work in progress,
Yep.
but it's needed.
Absolutely. You know, someone coming to the dinner table is like, hey, I met James when I first came in. Maybe he can show me to the dining room, eh?
Right. Well, you don't know the routine.
Right. Right.
Which there is.
That's right. Absolutely. And you can share that with them, eh?
Something that simple. Yes.
Absolutely. And one thing I really, really, really liked, and I think you made this point, is no one knows like someone who's gone through it, right? Myself, I haven't experienced that yet.
Yeah.
You know,
which is totally what this is all about.
Right? It's
nobody.
Yeah, you don't know unless you've gone through it, right?
Exactly.
So who's most important to be that first face, eh? As a resident.
A friendly face.
A friendly face. Even that small term, I know, you know, can go a long way.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So that mentorship program, as Karen did a great job of explaining, that we hook them up with that resident. If we know that there's some similarities from the information that we gathered during the assessment period, hey, James is really into music, and we have a resident come in that really has a love for music, then we feel that might be a great connection and a kickoff to a great relationship.
There you go.
Right? So we're really excited about that mentorship program, and we're learning and we're doing education things of what a healthy relationship would look like and what kind of things that could go on during those initial stages, eh? Yeah. Any other thoughts about our 2 programs that we've launched, the welcome and the mentorship, that you feel is important?
It takes a little time.
It does.
Because you got to know the person, their likes and dislikes.
That's right. To be mindful.
That doesn't happen that quick.
That's right. That's right. And not everybody likes everything, right?
No, that's for sure.
Right.
I don't like green beans.
Yeah.
But we have them every
But we
meal.
have them anyways, right? So that's what's on my floor every
Green
every
beans, you're
few
welcome
days.
to 'em.
Nice. Thanks, Mr. James. I appreciate
Hey.
that. Now I know whose plate to put them back on. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing. And like I said, James is an awesome ambassador for our West Wing. But if we need him somewhere else, he's the first person who will get down there and reach out his hand and extend that welcome bag and that hello. So when you come into our place, you come into family. Absolutely. Thanks, James.
No
Appreciate
problem.
that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we also have Brenda here. Hi, Brenda.
Hi,
How are you?
good.
Good. So she's as well one of our ambassadors, and she actually does an awful lot in our home with our fundraising committee and whatnot. And I thought I'd invite her in today because she actually was just welcoming somebody today, and I saw her down the hall. She needed an appointment and went to check on someone. And how did that go today?
Very good.
You enjoyed your visit?
It was a little bit hard because she spoke another language.
Okay.
But by just being gentle on both our sides, it went well. And she said, I hope you come and see me soon.
Aw,
So
Nice.
I felt it did go well.
Awesome.
Yes.
that's nice. And that made you feel how?
Useful. And it was engaging to me too, to
That's
talk to
nice.
her.
Excellent.
And
Useful, that's good.
she had a lot of things she wanted to say, and I just let her say them.
Aw,
You know, she was lonesome there, and so
thank you. That's so nice.
I stayed only about half an hour,
Mhm.
and then told her I'd be back. And she didn't have one of the calendars, the daily ones.
Yeah.
So I told her we'd get her one.
Everyone? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's fantastic.
Yep, she was very open about everything, and she didn't have the calendar so to tell what was going on.
That's great.
So
She had someone that she could ask, so that's why we're there, right?
I told her to make sure that if you have a problem,
Mhm.
ask somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she seemed very, very nice.
Thank you. That's fantastic. So right there from reporting from Meadow Park.
Wow.
That's our welcome committee, everyone.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for letting us come tell our story. So
Awesome.
I'll let it go back to you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Karen, Brenda, Nicole, and James. Love hearing your stories. I'm a little bit speechless because it's one thing to explain what the program is and the reasons for it and how you do it, the challenges, all of the things that you presented. But hearing from Brenda and from James, who are living it and delivering this program, what you're giving and what you're getting back from it is so impactful. Something stood out, Brenda, that you shared, and that is that you noticed that the new person didn't have the recreation calendar on their wall. Now, if you think about your first day moving in, maybe that's not a top priority for another team member, but for a resident, it's something that you noticed right away that she didn't have this calendar, so she wouldn't know what's going on. On those first days, there's all kinds of things going on, different people coming in and out of the room, asking questions. It might have been a few days before she got a calendar if you hadn't noticed that. So how great that you had eyes on this person and on their room on the first day that they're in the home. That's awesome. I want to ask our audience if you have any questions for Karen, Brenda, Nicole, or James about the program. Um, it's really interesting also that you do education and training for your peer mentors. You mentioned when we chatted earlier that having the Alzheimer's Society come in and provide training for your peer mentors so they know different ways to connect with their neighbors who are living with dementia or cognitive impairment. That's awesome. So you're building people up as well, your volunteers and your mentors. I'm going to take a look at the question and answer box. There is a question that's come in. Oh, okay. It's correction, not a question, but very impressive and a all capitals, good job.
Good job, James. Yay!
From Anne in Toronto. Thank you, Anne. We have Lisa, who is asking, what do you include in your welcome bag?
Okay. So we have, can you hear me? Am I on?
Yep, yep.
We have a variety
Oh,
of
everybody can
items.
hear you.
Oh. Sorry.
Nothing to do with the computer.
Oh my goodness.
Focus, James.
We have a variety of items that we put in the bags. Actually, we do actually have the activity calendar in the bag for the month, and we also have the menus, the current menus are always placed in the bag. We have a whole bunch of pamphlets and brochures that we place in there, resident bill of rights. We also place
Cozy socks.
or slippers. Sometimes we have little fleece blankets, just something warm and snuggly. And we also place word searches, word games, maybe a nice lotion.
Wheelchair bags.
Yeah, so our items are donations, and we have a good stockpile for our welcome committee. And we usually get a lot of extra donations at Christmas time, so we utilize those as well for our welcome committee. So it's fantastic. So
yeah.
Yes.
Big fat bag.
Yes, it's a big bag.
Big bag.
Yes, and then everyone on the committee also signs the card.
Yes, welcome card.
That welcome card that gets placed in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's great. Thank you. That's a question that we get often is what can you give someone new who's moving in if you don't really know them yet and you don't know their likes and interests. So it sounds like you have like a general type of bag that is for everyone, and then maybe you modify it once you get to know people. Something that you mentioned earlier that was really neat too is that you, as part of the peer mentoring program, you're doing some matching. So you are looking at the recreation assessment, so those questions that residents answer when they first move in about their likes and dislikes, their history, that kind of thing. And you're matching a peer mentor. And so far, even though your home is 76 people live there, so it's a bit smaller, you haven't had an issue with matching a new person to one of your peer mentors yet. That's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, really thoughtful and great ideas. And I just really love how this program was sort of already happening informally. You shared, Nicole, Karen, you shared that you saw this happening organically, and it was based on the strengths and the interests of the residents who already lived there. What the home did was help to formalize it and put some processes in place. But residents were already welcoming one another and being that friendly face. You've just allowed it to expand and become this great program that you can all be so proud of. Thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your tips and your ideas and your stories with us. Brenda, do you want to share?
Yeah, Brenda.
Yeah, she does.
There's no secrets here.
I just wanted to say that to me, because I am a victim, I would like to include a bit about you'll know what's wrong with me when you can hear me stuttering along. The disease for women and men. What is it? It was right on my tongue until I went to speak. Pardon? Dementia. I think it should be brought up more because the majority of people are suffering from dementia. And a lot of them haven't really talked to anybody about it.
Mm.
And it's a scary thing. I chose to let it out there. If you don't want to talk to me, not a problem. But a lot of people don't feel that way, and I think it's an important subject to
For
talk to
sure.
them about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brenda was, you were very moved at our education that
Yes.
we did, with the Alzheimer's Society. So, yes, it was very meaningful for Brenda.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Good.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing your experience and for being so open with our audience today. I am sure that there's someone watching who maybe experienced some of what you did and is maybe worried about speaking up and sharing that they're living with dementia, or a team member who's watching, a family member who has been really touched by your words and by your story. And you're right, speaking about it is one way to bring it to light and to get the support that you need. And the more people know about it, the more we can do to normalize things. And you can do so many things. It doesn't take away from you.
Mhm.
Really
She should.
appreciate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. And for our audience, thanks for being here today with us. The recording will go out shortly. And if you have any questions or you'd like to share anything with our presenters, you can email those to OARC and we'll pass those along. And if you could take a moment to fill out our evaluation after this webinar, that would be most appreciated. Thank you again so much to the team from from Meadow Park in Chatham. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today. Have a great
Thank you.
afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we leave?
You enjoyed that?
Yeah. You guys did great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went pretty well.
Yeah.